All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to continue working on our fall tree. So you will need the following items. You're going to need the painting of your tree. Then you're going to need scrap paper. Construction paper will do. If you have magazine pages that you have, that's fine. Anything that has these colors: yellow, orange, and red. And even if you have some brown, that might be kind of neat too. So if you've got that, that's fine. You also need a glue stick, because you're going to need to glue your leaves onto your tree. So go ahead and get those materials and meet me back at the art table. All right, so now that you have these materials, what you're going to do is you're going to tear the pieces of paper. A couple weeks ago, you made mosaics in which you cut the paper into squares. Today, you're going to be doing something pretty similar to that, but you're going to take your paper and you're just going to make piles of leaves. And they look really neat if you just work on tearing. So I'm going to put my paper like this so you see the size. It's pretty much about the size of my fingernail. I'm just tearing little tiny pieces of paper, just like that. You don't want to make them too big because they are supposed to be leaves, and the leaves on these trees are really small. So this is really good practice for when you're working on your writing. Right now, you're really focusing in on strengthening those hand muscles. So all I'm doing right now is I'm tearing my paper into small little tiny parts. You don't have to do all of your paper. Just do a few little pieces at a time, because you don't know how much you're going to need. One of the main things that I always focus in on with art is I like to reuse materials as much as possible. I like to recycle my materials. I don't throw a lot of stuff away. So this is all, these are papers that I've had for years and years and years. Okay, so I've got some pieces of paper. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start gluing those papers down. All right. So I'm just going to take my glue stick. And remember, when I told you about the painting part, it really doesn't matter that much about your tree. You don't have to make this, really, really beautiful tree that looks really realistic. Nope, you sure don't, because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be adding so much paper that it's fine if your tree doesn't look absolutely beautiful. So notice I'm just taking my paper and I'm putting it down as much as I can into different spots. The only thing that I would suggest that you do, boys and girls, is do not put all of your paper in, one spot, one color. You want to make sure that you have a lot of variety with your leaves. So you don't want to have like, oh, this is my orange area, this is my yellow area, this is my red area. No, you want it to really look random, because that's the way it is. That's the way it works. Okay? So I'm just going to keep on working. And I'm going to put my leaves down. I'm starting to get really kind of sticky. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll say, oh, you know what? I think I've done a lot in this area. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move to another area. You don't want to have a ton of leaves here and then down here have nothing. And they also don't need to be necessarily connected to a branch. They can be in the air because they could be falling. You could have a pile of leaves. You can just kind of watch how things come together. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to stop the video now. I'm going to keep on working on my tree. I'm going to try to make as many leaves as possible, putting that down. You can also put piles of leaves on the ground. You can put some leaves falling from the air. It's completely up to you. The main thing that I don't want you to do is give up. I want you to look at it. If you get tired or if your fingers get really sticky, go wash your fingers or go take a break and then come back to it because it really looks beautiful. All right, so boys and girls, this is how my fall tree is looking. I even have a few of these little bits of paper falling. The leaves are falling from the tree. I've got a little bit hanging off the paper over here. The hardest part for me, I think, is stopping once I start. I really like the tearing of the paper. I always have to wash my hands a little bit because my fingers get super sticky. But I like the cutting of the paper, the tearing of the paper, I mean. I always get little piles, and then of course I want to just keep on adding more and more and more. So my hardest difficulty, my biggest difficulty in doing this project is getting myself to stop with the adding of all of the paper. So I think I'm going to stop right now and I'm going to post this, and I hope everybody has a lot of fun working on their fall tree. Thank you. Have a great day.